Good morning guys, Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. I'm standing outside my emergency storage shed just for something different. We're up to episode 110. We've got to keep these going even with everything else going on in my life at the moment. I'm determined not to let everyone down, let myself down, make some space. We've got to commit, and we have. Let's have a look and see what we've got to do today. We're just about ready to get that shelf out in the middle of the room. If you've been watching, there's been some other stuff find its way in there though, which I'm not happy with, but we'll see what we can do about it. When I say I'm not happy with, I'm happy with the items. I just didn't want it to fill up as I get further down. Now the shelf right in front of you now is where I started putting repair jobs to do, and I'm just not getting time to do them. So the shelf is filled up very quickly with all sorts of stuff that needs testing or repairing. A lot of it will be videos, and that was kind of the reason for leaving that shelf there. It'll be handy to store some stuff that I have sorted, and also to keep up and coming repair jobs. But you know, it's pretty overflowing. There's the shelf in the middle of the room. All we have to do today is get that monitor off the bottom, so that will be today's video. If that's a quick one, we might look at getting the shelf out and doing something else. Things on this side have been put here because I'm either going to keep them or I need to test them. The keyboards from a video quite a while back I have to eBay, and I haven't had time to do it. There's a couple of monitors there that I need to test. I think one's a repair job as well. And this box came in recently, and how cool are these? Probably 1970s era RACV lights that mounted to the top of an RACV repair truck or van. These came from my hometown of Matoa, and anyone watching from over there who's got a few years under their belt will remember Sid, the RACV man that drove a, let me think, it was a yellow panel van, kind of a van. I think it was an ex-ambulance, maybe. I think it might have been a Fairlane, but these were mounted on the top of it, and I ended up picking them up from, some people I know over there. I'm not going to sell them. I paid $100 for them. That one's got a little bit of damage, unfortunately, but I'm going to keep them in my shed. It's a great memory I have of the local town, because I was a mechanic in Matoa for some time myself, and I knew Sid quite well. Sadly, he's no longer with us, but I'm going to actually light these up in my shed, and we'll try and repair that acrylic. I'm not sure what we're going to do there. They go a bit brittle in the sun. That's the only damage. I think they're okay otherwise, but really cool items. I have no doubt they'd do really well if I put them on eBay or something, but I think they need to be in my shed as memories, and eventually they may end up back in the Matoa Museum. But the real cool pieces. If anyone local to that area has a photo of Sid's old yellow RACV van, I would love a photo to show these sitting on top of it. So if you have, get in touch with me. I might put a little note on the community Facebook page over there and see if I can find a photo, and I'll show you all. All right, so I don't want things to build up any more on these shelves, and I do have to process them as I can. We haven't touched the top shelf, so we'll be working our way through that as well. But today, let's get that big heavy computer monitor out on the bench. We'll give it a test, and hopefully it goes and we can just sell it. Oh, these monitors are so big, bulky and cumbersome. The modern generations just will not know the strain it was to move a computer setup back in the day. All right, so a large CRT monitor. It's probably a 19-inch or something. We'll check that out. It appears to be in pretty good condition. It's rather dirty, but hopefully it works, and hopefully we can just give it a quick clean up, a quick test, take it to the shop, work out a price, and move it on. So the beast is about a 16-inch screen. It's an Optima. Looks to be a little scratched on the screen. I'm not sure if it'll clean off. I do have to be careful. I tried to clean one of these screens once, and it discovered afterwards it had an anti-glare finish, and cleaning it actually partially destroyed the finish. And then I had blotches everywhere, and it was a real hassle to clean off. So Optima, manufacturing date December 2002. All right. So it's certainly a big beast. Looks like it came from a primary school. Okay, well, I guess we just got to power it up. I'll have to get my old IBM computer out here and a keyboard maybe, and see if it comes to life. Okay, I think we're ready to power up. We'll put some power onto the monitor via the appliance tester, and let's just see if that actually comes to life. Well, made a promising noise, but of course it may not come on until there's a signal. So let's turn the PC on. This is my IBM test PC, minus the cover at the moment. Right, now we have a green light, so that's good. Aha, excellent. Looks like the monitor works. Beautiful. The mouse error, we don't have a mouse connected. We're going to get some strobing as you do on a CRT with the camera, but it looks like that works perfectly. Now it's got speakers in it as well, but I don't have anything I can actually run through the PC at the moment to see if the speakers work. Let's just see if it all boots up properly. It does seem to be a wider black line on that side than this side, but that just might be a setting on the back of the monitor, or maybe something we can do here, adjust. Oh look, okay, we've got all these different things there, contrasts and picture. Yeah, we can move the picture across and everything from there. Select. Don't know what I just selected. Don't know what that one does. Alright, but they all seem to do something. We have a volume here as well. Well, good enough. I think it's working. Certainly it passes the test as far as the appliance tester goes, and it's showing what I expect it to show from this old IBM computer. So I think I'll just give it a clean up, and I'll try and work out what price to put on it in the shop, or whether I market it through a Facebook group or something like that. I've got a couple of monitors in the shop. I have sold a few, but they're not fast sellers, so I think I might be better just putting some ads on some of the Facebook groups and see if I can flush out some buyers. I guess I should have let it continue to boot up. So there we go. It's got good colour, and it doesn't appear to be even strobing that much through the camera, at least where I'm looking at it. So that's good. Something to do with the refresh rate of the screen and the frame rate of the camera. Often you get really bad strobing or scrolling. In this case, it seems to be matching up. Other than some flickers, it seems to be quite stable. So that's good. And now we have some rolling on the screen, but it's not too hard to look at, hopefully. 17-inch monitor. Okay, so I measured 16. The computer thinks it's 17. Well, there's occasional flicker on the screen and a little bit of a crackle from the back of it. Might just have dust in the system, maybe. Okay, Windows is properly booted now. Notice though there's a bit of a black line at the top, so the whole screen seems to be a little bit twisted, or at least the picture. I don't think it's a problem. I'm sure it can be adjusted. Anyway, I think it's working well enough for us to say tested and works. We'll just give it a clean up. And there we go, all cleaned up. It actually cleaned up very, very well indeed. I just used a glass cleaner. Even though this says simple green, there's a fair chance it's a combination of different glass cleaners. I tend to drain all the bottles into one. I could have inadvertently created the best glass cleaner ever known to mankind, or even unknown to mankind, by just mixing them. I'll never know, of course, but it did a good job. I cleaned up the case and, importantly, the screen with the glass cleaner, and I don't think there were scratches. I think it was marks, because it actually looks scratch-free now and it hasn't harmed the anti-glare finish. I was very careful, though, not to use methylated spirits or any solvent on the screen, because, as I said, I have had problems with that before. But I did need that to get an old sticker off the side here. I think someone had stuck one of those plastic hooks with a self-adhesive backing, and when they go hard, they're very hard to get off. But the Metho did take that off. The casing looks great. There's no cracks, there's no bad marks. A little yellowy in some places, but maybe from being near a window, but it's actually pretty hard to pick. It's actually a really nice monitor. So anyway, I've finished cleaning it up. I know now that it works, albeit it may need some tweaking. And as these things get older, they may need recapping or something. But at this stage, it works well. I haven't tested the speakers, but they're pretty straightforward, and I'm sure they'll work. I'm going to put this in the shop for about $60. If anyone's interested, let me know and I'll save it for you instead of pricing it in the shop. I may advertise it on some Facebook groups, as I mentioned. I don't want to post it, so please, you need to be local if you want to come and pick it up. But anyway, I'm pleased to get that out of the shed, and hopefully $60 or thereabouts back in the kitty. Well, 10 minutes is way too short for an episode of this series. Let's get this shelf out. Woohoo! Beauty! How good is this shed looking now? Look at all that space. We've almost got an indoor cricket pitch, albeit a short one. I'm going to get something else out today, and rather than start at the top again, which is our normal procedure, and work our way down, obviously this shelf in the middle is kind of next in the firing line, although we do need to get back over here and clean these things out, so I might start up the top there next week. But just to finish this video off, I'm going to grab something from down below, because Steve from Queensland, who's bought vintage computers off me before, he's spotted this little number down here in previous videos, and he actually sent me a photo, and I'll show you, I'm sure he won't mind, to show just how eagle-eyed our favourite computer collector is. No offence, Bob from Tassie, you're our favourite as well, and I know you probably would have been interested in this too, but Steve beat you to the punch. Apparently it's one that he used to have back in the early 90s with a business he had, and he's trying to recreate the exact same system. So he recognised it immediately from the smallest glimpse. So let's get it into the bench and have a bit of a look at it. Okay, just before we go to the bench, it's time to turn on the junko meter. Yes, it's a complicated, very involved piece of test equipment that measures how much junk we have to go, and it's precisely calibrated. You can see that white stick there. That's really the extent of the technology, a white stick. But what it will do will give us an accurate representation of how far we have to go, how much junk we still have to move out of this shed. Those of you new to this channel may just think that that shelf in front of us is against the end wall of the shed. Not so. And remember, we still have to do a lot of stuff up the top here on the left. We haven't tackled that. And there's a little bit more around the corner past the repair shelf. So that's where our junko meter is set on the inside. And on the outside, you can see it sticking through the shed there. And I just counted the end of the rafter beams. We have 9 to where the stick is. And believe it or not, we have 9 more to the end of the shed. So we are pretty much halfway through the emergency storage shed. Are you surprised? Are you amazed? Are you shocked? Count me in all of the above camps. What this does mean, of course, is if you love this series, we've got another couple of years at least on cleaning out the shed, although there are some bigger things in there. And I know towards the back there's a number of boxes of light shades that I got from a shop that was closing down. So we'll probably move a fair bit of quantity in some episodes, and then others where we get random boxes of goodness knows what. There might even be a couple of episodes in the entire box. We have a lot of other electronics and things to test as well. There's another parts drawer there, and I just slid this one out before. And if you're into vintage military radio stuff, how cool does that look? I think we've had similar before, which we've managed to sell. We have a mixture of shed stuff, unknown timber boxes, vintage computer stuff. Still, it seems to be a bit of a theme through this shed. Workshop things. There are some domestic house stuff, china, glassware. I know there's a pretty good mix in here. So what's through there? Looks like a crate with lots of newspaper, so things are probably delicately wrapped up. Yeah, it's fun. I'm loving it. Hopefully you guys are too. If you don't like this series, well, hopefully I can get enough other videos up to keep you amused with regards to repairs and e-waste and recycling in general. Who knows what this is? I'm not going to tell you. Leave it in the comments if you know what that is. It's glass. So I have the rest of that somewhere. Might be a restoration project down the track. Okay, let's turn off the junko meter. It's very heavy on power. I must get solar panels on it one day. So there we go. If you're new to the channel, as I said, we do have a long way to go. Okay, it's now time to check out Steve's computer. We'll open it up and have a look inside to see what's in here. Hopefully we don't see any damage. Steve did request that I do not power it on, which is very sensible with some of this older stuff, because there are things, particularly capacitors, that if you power them up straight away, you can actually cause quite a bit of damage. So we're not going to do that, but we'll open it up and have a look inside. That way Steve gets to have a peek as well. And we'll see what we find. You know, I think this was the early 90s Compaq, did you say? IBM. Okay, it looks like we have a screw in the side here. Oh, is it not a Phillips head? It's a Torx bit, but it has a flat slot as well. All right, so Steve's effort does highlight the fact that if anyone's interested in anything they spot, send me an email, put a message underneath, or as someone did just in the last video, the last e-waste video, put a message on the Facebook group that you're interested in something, because that coffee machine, if you watch my last e-waste video, that coffee machine has been claimed and hopefully it will be saved. And I did offer to give it away to any local subscribers. So I'm pleased that that's going to find a good home and hopefully be fixed up. All right, that's all we need to take the cover off. Whoa, it's chock full. That's good, it hasn't been scrapped out. What do we got here? We've got, that's the floppy drive. We have a hard disk drive, the original IBM one. It's a 30 megabyte drive. Is there something underneath it? I don't know. No, I don't think so. So the hard drive's there. I will leave the hard drive in for Steve. I don't think data is going to be an issue on something that's, 30 or 40 years old. And I'm sure Steve will treat any data he finds with respect. Anyway, I don't even remember where this one came from. It would have come in an e-waste haul I grabbed once. So the main board looks good. I can't see any corrosion on it, which is great. Not sure where the battery is, but I'm not seeing any green corrosion. There's some sort of expansion card. There's some RAM in there, 2.6 of RAM. I think, don't know what the CPU is in these. I'm certainly not familiar with these older computers, but everything looks intact and undamaged. There's no nests of mice or anything like that. Power supply is probably going to need recapping. Usually the capacitors just don't last. Have we got a date here? 1991. At least the date code says 9119M. It's a 90 watt power supply. All right, well, I think that's all we need to see, and hopefully all Steve needs to see. But it certainly looks complete and in good physical condition. As far as electronics goes, well, that's not for me to work out. I have to work out a price. I don't know what they're worth. The case is pretty good as well. So I think, yeah, there we go. It says model, I can't quite read that. Model 30286, personal system. I would only be guessing and saying $100. I don't know, but Steve's very fair. We will work out a price between us, and there'll be postage, of course, which is probably going to be about $40 odd, and we'll sort that out. I'll probably just put $100 down on my list as far as value goes for this series, and we'll just fine-tune it between ourselves. So there we go. One vintage IBM computer, complete, and off to someone that's going to love it and restore it. And that makes our list pretty simple for this week, just the two items, and I think we can confidently add $150 to the total. The total, which has now passed $17,000 from what I've got out of that shed. Can you believe it? And we're not even halfway. There are some cool things to come out, some valuable things. There's probably a lot of low value, well, there shouldn't be too much low value stuff, because a lot of the things I stashed aside were good things. So but then again, there's also boxes that I've never ever looked in. When we clean out a shed, sometimes we just have to move it quickly and it gets parked. So we only really have a peek to make sure it's not rubbish, or dead animals or something ridiculous, and it gets stashed aside. So it's a journey of discovery for you and me. I hope you're enjoying it. I'm getting some good money back in the kitty. I'm getting some great space back. Hopefully you guys are getting some entertainment and maybe some inspiration to do your own sheds. I did have someone say a while back that they'd watched me process a box a week for nearly 2 years, and I think they've done one box. But one's better than nothing. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.